That's good. Okay. Shuffle back, and you are done. Selected, go. So that's the digging work done. We have to lime the field, we need to put slurry down, then we can put the seed beds in. And then we'll have not a lot to do for a few days again while we wait for everybody else's harvest or our next harvest. Don't think I drove forward far enough. It's not even close. Well, maybe I should have gone in that door. Challenger is in place. Select forward, engine off, climb out, and since I need to move some farm equipment, gonna go out for a quick drive up the lane.
Remember last year we went downstairs, but I didn't see it. Yeah, it was probably where all those boxes were underneath the cards.
And that is getting close, I think. Yeah. What does that mean? That means it's growing. Not ready to harvest, but that is getting close. That'll be ready in a couple of months. Because we really haven't been up here that much. What's that?
I don't have eyes. It's way behind that heater thing down there. And this stuff. Merry Christmas stuff.
Big giant hole in the middle of my field.
Huh? There's like another box of ornaments, right?
That looks like weeds. Oh yeah, we get patches of weeds, but no crop. Interesting. Where are we? Of course, I'm standing on it, so I need to move out of the way. Well, you have to purple harvested, yeah. So that's dead crop. I haven't figured out what the difference between withered crop and harvested crop is. So help Ray's finished. Gonna have to go and help the spreader crew. First things first, I'm going to take this down to the end of the yard and we'll hitch it up to the header trailer, because that needs to be, yeah, we'll put it away and then we'll get it out in a couple of days when our crops are ready, unless somebody else's crops is get ready, in which case we'll want to try and get a bunch of harvests in, not just ours. Okay, where is the case? There is the case, and is the engine running? No, engine on. See, that one field has pretty much depleted our white stuff. I've got another field left to go, but you can see on the mini-map the difference between current and ideal pH levels. So I'm going to have to... oh, we're not even halfway. Oh. Well, that's kind of a bit sucky. I'll try and get this half of the field as done as it'll let me. Obviously, some of these tiny patches just aren't enough to trigger the lime spreader. Thinking the big triangles at the end here possibly would. Yeah. But that's what I mean by metered. It's I can turn that off now. It'll let us go faster if I do. It only puts lime where it thinks, or where soil conditions would indicate that lime is needed, so we use less of it, which is kind of a good thing. But as I said, this is not even, well, it's probably more than half the field, but we're going to have to fill up this hulking great spreader again in order to get this field completely done. Down to 2500, turn that off there.
I think you're making us put in this telephone box because it has your guys' stockings in it. For some reason I didn't put my own stocking in it last year.
And we'll get this bit done.
And make sure that this stands thingies are, and then it's got to take us all in there. I need to take a rest.
And there you go. Yeah, what I used to do in Farm Sim 17 would be to buy one of these, and if you can put lime in it, I don't think you can, none of these hold lime, but you can put seeds and solid fertilizer in these, so you could use those to resupply your spreaders and your seeders. So I would do that in Farm Sim 17 because it was just easier to go to the store, fill up an auger wagon, and then come back with it full, and you can refill the seeder like 4 or 5 times, depending on your seeder, of course. Okay. Reverse that down. We're probably just going to deplete this with the worker. Oops, let's use the worker and not me. Go worker, go. What? It's blocked by what object? Okay, let's go and go. Worker is working. Find the JCB, and we can now put this away. Oh look, I've got a little belt system thing set in the dirt. We're going to have to do this, aren't we? Turn limit on this trailer isn't that great. Obviously this tractor is very capable of exceeding the limits of the header trailer. Now there are some mods which give you a tow hitch that you mount on the 3-point, so it leaves a little bit more space at the back that you can then get better maneuverability out of your trailers that don't particularly like it. Okay, helper E is empty, as expected. So we'll clean this thing off. Again, probably something that should be cleaned with air pressure rather than water pressure. And I will try and put this back. Oh, we have so few silage bales for the sheeps. Okay, this one goes on the right. Can't see what I'm doing, and that's not the right. Now it's the right. And try and get that straight back there, and hope it doesn't fall off again. Ooh, that's not looking that great. I wish. Yeah, that's an improvement with Farm Sim 22, is that now the functionality they added for the class DLC, where header trailers lock the headers into position, doesn't seem to work on corn headers. Well, it locks them, but it doesn't lock them in a fixed position. They seem to just lock on the trailer or wherever you drop them, which I would say not ideal, but well, it's better than them falling off. Repair. It's one of the reasons why if I were to upgrade harvesters, I would probably go with that. It's got a bigger tank. I mean, ours is the small, so that's a marginal increase. It's still another 100,000 value. Our one is currently worth significantly less, 147. So 147, yeah, that's still a £200,000 cost to upgrade that, but you get that, and then you get the header trailers. One of these, I think that one, but your header locks into place so it doesn't then go wandering. And I think the corn, you don't get the Helianthus header, but you do get a corn header for the case. This thing. And that, it's got the, what's it, hydraulics, so this folds in, so the header is only as wide as the harvester. Anyway, that's that. Not really important. This is empty. And not running. So, time to run down to the store, get some more lime. That's the only problem with lime, is it does run out fast. Even when it's metered, it runs out fast. As I said, this field not limed by us. The other field was limed by us, and I might skip it. And I want to look at what the capacity of this thing is and just fill it to the top, because obviously what we bought, which were 8 pallets, wasn't enough for that one field. And we've still got another field, so I figure we'll just fill this up. And that should be enough for the rest of the field we were doing, plus the other one. Hopefully. Maybe. It would be a real pain in the butt if we have to come down for 200 or 2,000 litres more to finish off the other field, but we're now kind of beyond that. I'm going before you, because you're probably following me. And this tractor could do with a clean, and yeah, so there's a couple of scripting mods now available on FarmSim 22. The other one that I've loaded is the one I've got next to the fill level indicator at the bottom of the screen that says Case IH Puma 220 CVX 76%. That is now available on FarmSim 22 as well. So you can see, I don't think there's lime there. Don't know why it went there. Back. Lime is here. And I didn't look up what the capacity is. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think I might have bought 10. But it's nice to be able to see what the breakdown of the equipment is. Although in FarmSim 22, the wear indicator on the speedometer is now an aggregate of all the equipment you have connected together. So it would probably be about 75%. It would probably be lower than 75% based on the fact that the weight is at 57 and everything else we have in this consist is 75. But if I repaired the tractor here, it wouldn't show me that the weight and the spreader also need to be looked at. But in FarmSim 22, if you've just repaired the tractor and all of a sudden your equipment status drops to 50%, you know that something else attached is in really bad condition. And you probably want to look into that. And the long, slow, laborious thing of loading this thing up. Nice thing about 19 was you could use the load button to load up things like auger wagons and tippers. So if I wanted to transport a tipper load of seed back to the farm, I can just drive in and do that just using the load thing button. In 17 you couldn't do that. You had to use the front loader to heft the big bags up over the edge of whatever it was you were trying to fill. And 18, 6%. So yeah, we're going to have a little bit of lime left over at the yard, or here. Actually, we have quite a lot left. 1,050. Alrighty, let's get us back to the field. We'll finish that one off. And I think we'll call it a day. Because I'm getting hungry. Get back in the cab so I can see where I'm driving because of all these trees. So I also see on some of the third-party mod sites we are getting the first steps to map production. One I looked at sort of said, hey, here's my first version of the map. Yes, it has errors. I'll fix them. But, yeah, you load it, you're accepting that there's errors. Which is kind of fair enough. Obviously there's simple mod maps where people have taken Elm Creek or Obalu, or however you pronounce it, and have removed buildings from the extraneous yards so that you can have a multiplayer with many starting locations. The problem I've found with things like Elm Creek, you go to a yard and it's like this one up on the right. There's a ton of buildings in it. I can't use any of the buildings. I can't store equipment in any of the buildings. They're taking up valuable yard space. And frankly, I'd really like the ability to buy that and use it as a functional yard and place my own storage sheds on there and whatever. But I can't do that because I can't delete them. So some modders have taken the base game maps and just said, here's these maps, and we've made it so that you can do whatever you like on the maps because because we've removed all the buildings, so there's nothing in your way when you're getting a yard set up. So if you want to play a multiplayer game and everybody has their own yard designed to their own specifications with buildings that don't use up valuable space, you could download those maps, download a Risk Beware and make use of them. So that's kind of nice. It's sort of an argument I had early on. I know Oxygen David and Black Sheep Modding, Oxygen David gave us Marwell Manor, Black Sheep Modding gave us the Old Stream Farm, and they basically had, if you start New Farmer, you get the yard as is, as they designed it to be, with all the buildings, but the buildings were functional, so there were, I don't mind that. It's like this map, Oakfield Farm, it's got a bunch of buildings in, but it's a functional map. They're functional buildings, so I don't mind them being there. But if you started as a farm manager or start from scratch, they didn't give you the yard pre-built, and you couldn't build it for yourself. You had to go out and find other mods to fill the space in. And so, if I wanted to play Marwell Manor, I would have to load in a New Farmer game and then edit, sell all the equipment, edit out all the stuff, add in some money, and then the map was with the yard as originally designed. Now, Alien Jim did something different where he gave you empty yards, and he started it out in FS19 where you got empty yards, but you had trigger points, and if you clicked the trigger, it would make a building happen. Well, with 19, he gave us the building assets, so you could buy an area and put buildings in which were initially embedded as part of the assets for the map, the purchasable assets for the map. So you could build, all your farmyards could look like the style of the rest of the map. See, part of the problem I have is if I go, let's try and place a building, for example. So I go to buildings, farmhouses. These farmhouses, not Oakfield farm style. The sheds. Nothing on Oakfield Farm looks anything like these sheds. That probably fits. These probably fit. But all these are just different. That fits. And I've picked these because they kind of look like they fit with the map. But, it's sort of, as I said, Alien Jim gave you assets that look like the houses in the villages and everything else, and I liked that idea. Now, Oxygen David kind of went away from the I'll let you build your own yard, and he was in his Discord channel sometime this week when I happen to be there. And I did say, I like the way in Oakfield Farm you provide me with the buildings as is, but they're all usable, unlike what Giants has provided us for with the base game maps. But you also provide us with a little patch of land that we can use as an extension to our yard. So like where I've got the all the farm equipment is down in that lower yard. That lower yard is just a plot of ground that Oxygen David set aside as you can put placeables in it. And he said he's planning to do that as best as he can on all his maps, so that you get the farmyard, but if you want to do other things, there's a little area off the side of the farmyard that you can place other assets. And especially with Farm Sim 22, you have the production facilities. You can put production facilities in those expansion areas. That's not going to do. That will do. And we are done there. Fold that up. Should be our gap in the hedge just up here. So what is the time? Okay, we're at 12, so I'm going to call it here, but I'm going to take you down the road. So for example, Oakfield Farm isn't the only one. If we go down to Oak Glen, which is just over here. Oh, gas station, neat. So this is Oak Glen Farm. You've got the farm buildings here, which, you know, as best you can make use of. Most of them are open. I don't think we have any doors on any of these. But usable farmyard. But over here, there's this flat area of grass. Now you can either purchase this plot of ground as a grass field, and it's going to set you back 114,000, or you could landscape this and put, you know, extra sheds and extra stuff, silage clam, whatever you want, and this can be an expansion to your farm just across the road. Obviously a little bit of a problem of how do I get from there to here, because I have to go all the way up to the roundabout and come back by the pub. And then there's a house here that could be my sleeping area. All I need is a sleep trigger on the outside, and hey presto, this could be a starting farm. And because of the placeable area there, I have some element of flexibility to what the farm looks like. So, yeah, I like that. Anyway, let's hello. Oh, engine. It's going to lower that. We should in theory, we should use a lot less lime on this field, because the amount of difference we need to make. You look at the change in text or colour on the mini map, it's a lot less than it was on the other field. Very, very slight adjustment in pH. So anyway, we'll come down here. So I think that's it for this week. Next week I will have finished the liming. I may also finish the slurry spreading, and then we will plant the corn. So it might be tomorrow, day 2, early summer, but we'll see. But for right now, I have things to do, stuff to eat, and hope you have a good weekend, and we'll be back on Oakfield Farm next week.